Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome to Posy Lane. If you're brand new here at Posy Lane, we like to do fun, easy, doable crafts. New videos come out every week, so make sure to hit the subscribe button so you're the first to be notified when new content is out. If you've been following us the last few weeks, we've been using all these different supplies from the Dollar Tree, including pool noodles and rub-on transfers to make a bunch of fall crafts, including a lot of the things that are behind me. Thank you guys so much for coming back, and I can't wait to craft together again with you. We're going to be making 4 Halloween crafts with wood cutouts from the Dollar Tree. I know that it seems kind of early to be doing Halloween stuff and decor. I noticed that my Dollar Tree just in the last week and a half has had all their Halloween stuff filling up the aisles, so I want to make sure to give you ideas for crafts and decor that you can make while those things are still in stock at your store. We have several crafts that we're going to be making. The one I'm the most excited about is actually a skeleton wreath. I think it's going to turn out so cute. So go to your Dollar Tree, grab up your Halloween supplies, and let's get crafting. We're going to be making a pumpkin centerpiece. They had several different designs. I had like a turkey and an owl, but this pumpkin for Halloween was what stuck out to me the most. And we're going to be making an arrangement with these black cat wood cutouts from the Dollar Tree, and we'll be filling it in with these florals also from the Dollar Tree. We're starting off our centerpiece by painting the unfinished wood. We're going to paint the pumpkin in pumpkin orange, and then this black cat, we're going to be using chalk paint and ink to paint it. First, I wasn't sure if I was going to paint the base or not, but then when I looked at it, I decided that I think it would look better painted orange than not painted at all. I'm going to attach a skewer that I found at the Dollar Tree to the back of the black cat, and that way we can stick it down into the arrangement. I'm going to be using some dry floral foam. I found that it's cheaper to buy a multi-pack from Hobby Lobby than to buy individual blocks at Dollar Tree, but they do sell this at the Dollar Tree. And whenever I cut it, I just use a butter knife. It's so simple to cut, and I make sure that it has to squeeze down in there and is a really tight fit so that it doesn't come out. This is going to be a forward-facing arrangement, so it only needs to look good from this side. And with any arrangement, I look for 3 things. The first thing is a focal flower, and the black cat will act as that. And then I look for a filler flower, and I'm using these cupcake toppers that are the shapes of bats. And the last thing is height, and I'm using these florals from the Dollar Tree for the height. These are still maybe a little bit taller than I wanted them, so I'm just going to cut them in half and make it into 2 stems that I can stick into the arrangement. This is a very simple and easy craft, but I think that it's going to come out so cute. We're going to take these boxes, you can see they have a backing to them, and we're going to be painting them and adding a tea light candle from the Dollar Tree. It's just one of those ones that's battery operated, and making a lantern with it. We're going to paint each box just a solid color. And so for the jack-o'-lantern, I'm going to be using this pumpkin orange, and then for the owl, I'm going to be using this chalk paint and ink. I chose to use the owl and the jack-o'-lantern designs, but they also had a ghost and a skeleton if you would like that more. Now that the paint is dry on both of the boxes, it's just time to assemble it. And assembling it is as easy as putting the flameless candle inside the box and putting the backing on. What's crazy about these flameless candles is how perfectly they fit inside and can still fit the back of the box onto the box. When I saw Haunted House stained up wood cutout, I loved it. I thought, how fun would it be to make my own haunted house? And so we're going to be decorating it by adding this wood cutout, also from the Dollar Tree. It was in a multi-pack of ornaments that has a little ghost coming out like a spirit that's haunting the house. And then for the attic, we need some bats to be flying out of that attic. So I found these cupcake wood toppers also at the Dollar Tree. And how fun would it be for it to light up? So I found these miniature lights that are battery operated also at the Dollar Tree that will add to the back, so the whole thing looks spooky at night. I'm painting the unfinished wood for the haunted house first. And so I'm going to paint the haunted house with this same ink chalk paint. And then I'm going to paint the little ghost with this white matte paint. The haunted house is going to be one-sided, so you really only have to paint the front and like the inside of the windows and door. To add add an eerie effect to all the windows, I'm going to be adding yellow tissue paper that I got from the Dollar Tree to the back. And to attach it, I'm just going to use Elmer's glue and put that all around each window. And then I'll place the tissue paper on top of that and then trim off the excess. The trickiest tissue paper to put on is probably for the door because there's only 3 sides that you can stick the glue on. So just make sure that your tissue paper goes all the way down to the base of the door and that you don't accidentally poke it through or rip it when you're putting it on. The next layer that I want to add is the ghost and these cupcake topper bats. I don't know if it will just go on because this is kind of a smaller ledge for the base. So I painted an extra bead that I just had on hand black, and I'll put it behind it, hot gluing it first, and use that to support the ghost. With these, I plan to just stick them kind of like they're coming out of the attic. If you can't find these cupcake toppers at your Dollar Tree, you could always just cut out bats from cardstock and attach them to skewers to put on the house. The last thing that we're going to be adding to our haunted house is these mini lights from the Dollar Tree, and we'll attach them to the back kind of close to each of the different openings so the light will show through using packaging tape. When you are attaching the lights, you want to make sure that none of the wires go through a window because that may actually show up when the lights are on. These mini lights are battery operated, so if you don't have a stash of batteries at home, make sure to grab 2 AA batteries from the Dollar Tree while you're there. We're going to be making a skeleton wreath. Fell in love with this wood cutout skeleton when I was at the Dollar Tree, and he's so long that he's perfect to fit this form. I found this like bicycle wagon wheel type form at the Dollar Tree as well, and we'll be filling it in with all these things that we'll talk about more later that also all came from the Dollar Tree. But one of the things that I love about this craft is how easy it's going to be to put together. I'm going to be using zip ties to attach everything, and I have seen zip ties at the Dollar Tree, but I found this pack of 100 black ones at Walmart for only $3.22. We're going to be adding the skeleton as a centerpiece for the wreath kind of at the end, but because we need to paint it, I wanted to paint it first so that it can dry while we're assembling everything. We're going to be using this white matte paint. To prep it, I'm just going to cut off this hanger because we won't need that. And then to paint it, I will only do the front of the head and body, but because the legs move around so much, I'll paint the front and back of the legs and the arms. This is actually a little bit trickier than I thought it was going to be to paint because of all these little wire hooks for it to be jointed. What I've noticed is it's really easy if I accidentally get paint on one of these just to kind of scrape it off once it dries. We're going to be building this wreath in layers, and for the base layer we're going to be using this decorative mesh that's from the Dollar Tree. You need 4 pieces of it, and each one needs to be just a little bit longer than the base. To attach them, we're going to be using these 4-inch cable ties from Walmart. I love that they come in black so that it really matches the mesh and you won't see it. And we'll use 2 for each piece, just putting 1 on either side of the form. To finish off the mesh layer, I'm going to take the ends of each piece of mesh and I'm going to fold them in half and cut a triangle out, and that will give the ends a more finished look. And then I'll also cut the excess off the zip ties. The next thing that we're going to need are these Halloween branches. You're going to need 10 of each color, and I'm just going to cut them apart with wire cutters. I wanted a little bit of orange for the arrangement too, and I found this really cool orange mesh tubing at Dollar Tree, and we're going to be cutting 10 pieces of it out, about the same length as the branches. I put 1 of each item into a grouping, and I'm going to attach that with a zip tie onto the wreath, and I'll just work my way around with 10 groups in total. If you couldn't find this mesh tubing, my Dollar Tree also had the branches in orange. I just liked using the mesh tubing because it added a different texture and added more interest to the arrangement. Now that all the florals are attached, I'm just gonna kind of spread out the branches and make sure that everything's covered, and I'll cut the excess off of these zip ties. The last layer for the wreath is the skeleton and also this beware sign. This came in a 3-pack of galvanized signs, and this beware was my favorite. I'll attach both of these things with some zip ties. All of these crafts are getting me in the mood for fall. I cannot wait. I'm thinking about like pumpkin spice lattes, and I'm thinking about like corn mazes. This is so cute with a pumpkin. It looks like the cat got scared and is jumping out of it. These two little guys, the lanterns, were so cheap to make. Like it cost less than $5 to make these two. And they are so great to put around in different little shelves because of their size. They'll add just a little bit of light at night and make it look eerie and spooky in your house. I love how these lights flicker and look like candlelight, but I also like how these lights don't for the haunted house. It makes it look really eerie and maybe like someone's inside the house at night. This wreath was so easy to make with zip ties. I actually hadn't made a wreath with zip ties before, and doing that instead of using wire and hot glue saved so much time. And this seriously cost probably less than $15 to make. Wreaths at the craft store already made can be so expensive, so I love how everything was from the Dollar Tree and it makes it super affordable. I also love how the skeleton looks like he's just kind of flopping about. It's so cute and spooky for Halloween. Thank you guys so much for joining me here at Posy Lane this week. I had so much fun crafting with you, and I can't wait for next week.